Welcome to ACC Student News.
The news students can use. I'm Carl.
And I'm John. Here are this week's stories.
President Biden is trying to deliver more student debt forgiveness. The new plan was unveiled that will relay a Higher Education Act, which allows the Secretary of Education to waive or release federal student loans. There are 5 major groups that could benefit under the new plan. The borrowers who have been repayment for 20 years or more, people who have debt, attended low financial value groups, people experiencing hardships in paying back their loans, people whose balances ballooned because of the interest, and low or middle income borrowers who qualify for forgiveness but haven't applied.
School Town of Munster School Board voted 4-0 to approve a $62 million in bonds for capital projects. This is said to include the acquisition of the Center for Visual and Performing Arts if it decides to purchase it. The new debt will replace the old debt, and there will not be an increase in property taxes. The funding will go to renovation and construction projects at all 5 campuses, whether or not the School Town of Munster buys the Center for Visual and Performing Arts as a new administration building. According to the Lake County Assessor's Office, this property is assessed at $10.7 million. The School Town of Munster started looking into the property with the intention to run and maintain programming at the Center for Visual and Performing Arts.
41-year-old Amy Harris is sentenced for 1 month in jail and 3 months in home confinement for stealing President Joe Biden's daughter's Ashley Biden diary and attempting to sell it to Donald Trump's presidential campaign. When they didn't accept the diary, it instead went to Project Veritas. After FBI searched the homes of the Project Veritas founder and 2 employees, the president of the Project Veritas, Ben Wetmore, stated that the organization turned the diary over to the authorities.
The Israeli military has withdrawn their ground troops from the southern city of Khan Yunis. After months of fierce fighting, the city was left in ruins. They left the city to recuperate and prepare for future operations. Early in the war, the city was considered a safer zone and that people in northern Gaza should seek shelter there. But the IDF decided to focus their offense on the city, which made the people run again. Lieutenant General Herzad Halavi states that they will not be leaving any of the Hamas brigades active in any part of the Strip, and that they are far from stopping operations within the Gaza Strip.
Police were called to investigate an apartment on the 1100th block of Indiana Street for an apparent overdose death. While investigating the death, they found 13 migrants from Venezuela living in the basement of the apartment. 9 were children ranging from 2 months and 14 years old, and 4 adults. When the police dispatched their code enforcement division, who deemed the residence uninhabitable and issued the occupants a notice to leave the premise in 10 days.
Purdue has suffered another national championship loss at the hands of the University of Connecticut. Going into the game, both teams were ranked the 1 seed on opposite sides of the bracket. The final score of the national championship game was 75-60. Purdue has never won a national championship, and people thought they would this year. However, they unfortunately did not. Their only saving grace in the championship game was 7'4" center Zach Edey, where he scored 37 of Purdue's 60 points, while the other 4 starters for Purdue combined for a total score of 21 points.
Mexico is taking Ecuador to the top UN court over a recent police raid on the Mexican embassy in Quito. With the action, tensions between the 2 nations have soared. They raided the embassy due to Ecuador trying to arrest the former Vice President George Glass, who was within the embassy. Mexico's president has since filed a complaint to the International Court of Justice, asking the UN to expel Ecuador. They are also demanding a public apology and to pay for the damages they caused. We'll be right back after this short break.
What's wrong?
I don't understand.
Okay, let's walk through this. Let's start right here. Papers
Have to compete with the internet, TV, and video games.
Okay, that's good. Let's keep going.
Miss Lily.
Welcome back to ACC Student News, the news students can use. Here are some more stories. O.J. Simpson, one of the best NFL players to ever touch the field, has sadly passed away. He passed away surrounded by his family at the age of 76 after his long and hard-fought battle with prostate cancer. O.J. Simpson was known for his unbelievable performance in the NFL, playing for the Buffalo Bills for 11 seasons. However, he was also accused of murdering Nicole Brown Simpson, O.J.'s wife at the time, and her friend, Ronald Goldman. He walked away a free man after the trial, with the question of if he did it still being a controversial topic talked about today. Nonetheless, O.J. Simpson will be remembered for both his good parts and bad parts of his iconic legacy.
The parents of Ethan Crumbley, the teenager who enacted a school shooting at Oxford High School, has been sentenced to 10 to 15 years in prison for involuntary manslaughter. The court found that both James and Jennifer Crumbley, Ethan's parents, were aware that Ethan's poor mental stability and yet still provided him with the gun to use to commit the mass shooting at Oxford High School, therefore making them accomplices to the shooting. This ruling is historical because no other school shooting court case has ever convicted the parents guilty in any sort of the crime because of the actions of their child. This sets a new precedent for school shootings because now the parents might have to have consequences for the actions of their child. That's all we have for this week. I'm Carl.
And I'm John. Make sure to check out the rest of our videos on YouTube.
And follow us at ACC TV Hammond.